Welcome to episode 2 of the Blue Residoo Podcast. I'm Matthew, and joining me on this episode, as he does for every episode, is Martin. So today we're going to cover one of the best and least expensive items that you can get to boost your home security. So that item, in my opinion, is the Ring doorbell or any internet video doorbell in that category. So a couple years ago, I purchased one of these Ring doorbells just to see what they're all about. I got it on a Black Friday sale for around $125. And I just wanted something. I was moving into an apartment. Just wanted something to help boost the security, like my peace of mind and situational awareness. And once I got this thing out and installed it and just started going through all the options, I was really blown away by what all you get for $100. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have a 24-hour security system that you can pull up on your phone and view from anywhere around the world, as long as you have an internet connection. So that's the big thing. You have to have internet inside your house, apartment, condo, dorm, wherever. You have to have internet inside for the doorbell to talk to and communicate and upload the video files that it records and all that kind of good stuff. And you also have to have a smartphone with internet connection to be able to view it, which that's not 100% necessary. You could go back and view it later, like if you don't have your phone with you, but it's still recording and uploading into the cloud system that Ring uses. But just in my opinion, you can't get anything for $100 that provides this much capability for you and in and around the house. Like, it's just, there's nothing that can compare, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when you first brought up this topic, I thought to myself, well, maybe a dog would be cheaper, but honestly, in today's like the adoption fees and spade neutering and all this other stuff, you can't get a dog, and you definitely can't keep feeding a dog for $100. I think you're
there's
right.
no such thing as a free dog, just for the record.
There you
No
go. Yeah,
such
that's
thing.
a great point. No, I think you're spot on. And that is the first and easiest thing that can take any type of home security or just say situational awareness for your residents or for your family from zero, a literal zero,
Yeah.
to 90, whatever, maybe motion detectors, stuff like that. But just the significance that you have going from I have no surveillance and no eyes on my property to I have something, even if it's the front door, which is where everyone goes regardless.
Right.
I think you're right. It's really a no-brainer. I think at this point, it would be an investment that every adult who lives on their own or lives with someone or not living with their parents, or even if that doesn't really matter either, that every front door should have some type of surveillance or Ring doorbell or some other type of wireless camera doorbell, because that'll keep a lot more people honest. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you've noticed recently, but I see tons and tons of news footage that these Ring doorbells capture. Like, whether I saw just the other day a house exploded across the street and the Ring picked it up, like the motion, which is insane, by the way. But, it can catch anything from porch pirates to, people breaking and entering in a more extreme situation in case. But it's just like a no-brainer. Since I've had one, like, I'm never going to not have one. It's like one of those things that, once you experience it, it's like, okay, I'm not going back. I'm not living with this thing, without this thing anymore. So, and like another good thing is, like, if you have a kid that moves off to college, like, so more than one person can log into the app. So like if you have a kid that moves off somewhere and you want to kind of keep tabs on them, I mean, you can log into and see who's coming and going and all this kind of stuff, which, that's up for each family's choice. But
sure. Yeah. That could get weird. But I mean, it's better than nothing. I think, a lot of times
exactly.
A lot of times these situations, we are worried about it being weird or something being privacy invasive, but at the end of the day, if you prevent something bad from happening, it's all worth it. To your point about the Ring, I have some camera systems called Vision Will from Amazon. They're $70 per camera, outdoor cameras. They're all wireless, and you can have, I think, up to like 8 or more, maybe. I've got 3. There's an app. The app's free. There's no month to month. They has motion recording, motion alerts, notifications. You set, like you said, all kind of distances and settings. It has a light you can turn on. It has a speaker you can use. It has a siren you can click.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And like you said, I feel like, especially in like neighborhoods, if if there was a sign going into a subdivision that said, "Hey, every house on this block has a Ring doorbell camera," that is, maybe each private citizen's Ring doorbell, not like a like a HOA controlled one, but
Communal. Yeah.
yeah, that may be a little weird, but if every single household had a Ring doorbell, it would keep thieves at bay. They would second guess, like, hey, I am being surveilled incredibly in this neighborhood, so maybe not, steal packages or break and enter into a home. I think you're right. I think it's a no-brainer, and if anyone out there is listening does not have some type of video recording doorbell, get one. You definitely don't need to be opening a door blind. I guess there's peepholes, but
Yeah. And it's like, it's something you just touched on, is criminals or porch pirates or just any type of, thief, like they're catching on to these doorbells that video them. And, if they come up to your porch to take something and they see that doorbell with the lens and all, like they may think twice before they snatch your package or try to, find a way to come inside your house and all. So, and, for some of you guys that may be thinking like, hey, these guys are really hyping up these video doorbells. We are not sponsored by Ring or any other video doorbell manufacturer. But if you are willing to sponsor us on the Blue Residoo podcast channel, our email is down below. So
not yet.
Take that into consideration.
We are not yet sponsored, but Nest and Vision will, send us something. I think it's a no-brainer. I do some contract and maintenance work, and every house that I pull up to that has one, I immediately feel some type of way because I'm thinking, oh, someone's watching me right now. So let me carry myself in a good way. I think you're right. As far as security, surveillance, protection, I think a wireless or not wireless, but that's irrelevant, but a Wi-Fi camera, doorbell or camera at your front porch is the best first investment, and definitely, now that I've thought about it, cheaper than a dog. So it's a good point.
Way cheaper. I find myself, sometimes I moved out of my apartment. We now have a house, me and my wife, and I moved it to our house where we live now. And I find myself like, did I hear something at the front door? Like, was that the doorbell? I'll just whip out the app, pull it up, and it shows you a live feed of like looking through the camera, like as we go, like play by play. And I'm like, no, I was just hearing something. And something that I'm going to add to our house and our system is you can get multiple, the brand I have, Ring, obviously I've said that a lot already, but you can get more Ring doorbells and put them on every door. Like we can put one on the back door. And when you pull up the app, you have two screens and you can see the front door and the back door. Like, you can scale it up. They even have floodlights that you put on the corners of your houses and in the eaves, and they have cameras on them, and they're motion detected. If they see somebody come in, they turn on, the video starts recording. I mean, that's a lot of capability for not much money.
Right. Small investment that really doesn't cost you anything afterwards outside the upfront cost. What's your opinion on cameras inside the house?
I don't personally see a need for them. I mean, unless you have like roommates or something like that, But I don't know. I see where it can get weird,
Yeah, I prefer, as far as how the Internet of Things go in today's world, I would not want a camera of any kind. I already know for a fact the refrigerator's listening, so I definitely don't want to hand over a camera to anything. So I just see some footage. There's always some funny footage of a dog or a cat or something doing something silly on the inside of a house, and I always think like, man, I would not want I'm one of those people who put the covers over webcams and laptop cameras and stuff like that. So definitely no go on the inside of my house. I just wanted to see what your thought was on that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Like I said, if you have like a roommate or you're living with a group of guys at college, it may be a better idea just for like, I don't know, to see all the comings and goings. If some of your stuff gets missing, if, one of your buddy's friends comes in and, helps himself to
Right.
your laptop or something, I could see it being beneficial.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's me with a
Yeah,
wife and a
definitely.
kid, like just living as a family. Like I don't want one in my house. Yeah,
Right, yeah. And if someone's already gotten inside the house, either I'll take care of it, or they've already gotten in, so what's it matter? So I
yeah,
don't want to watch them
yeah.
steal my stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'd rather see them like before they get in with my outdoor
Right.
cameras than see them running around on the inside. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess if somebody does make it inside and you have like a voice capability, you can be like, "Hey, like the cops are on the way. What are you doing in my house?" Like, and then that
Right.
might get them to run out the door.
Try
But
to coerce them to leave, Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
maybe so.
But
Or just be
anyway,
screaming on your Ring doorbell from the outside at them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But no, I think it's like I've said already 4 or 5 times, just in today's world of high-speed internet everywhere and everybody's got
Mm-hmm.
a smartphone, you're just, it makes no sense not to have one. Like, spend the
Mm-hmm.
$100, get one, and like I said, you'll never live anywhere without one. It's just, it's like that. I wouldn't necessarily consider it life-changing, but it's super helpful in the day-to-day.
Well, yeah, and it's just the ease of it. I mean, you set it up once
Sure.
and it's
Yeah.
there. Like if you could
Right.
if you rubbed a lamp, or what am I trying to say? A genie in a bottle type scenario, and they said, "Hey, what's a superpower I could give you or something?" And they said, "Hey,
Right.
you can for free just know what the front yard looks like, or someone's at your front door at all times, anytime." That'd be a no-brainer. It'd
Yeah.
be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. For
for
sure.
sure. And then get a dog. Maybe after that, maybe get a dog.
Yeah. Because the doorbell's great, but the dog's going to sense somebody before they even get to the front door, probably. So,
Yeah,
a,
yeah,
a dog's always a good idea. And the meaner looking, the better for preventing
sure.
people from
Yeah,
coming inside the inside the house.
right,
So,
right. Yeah. Well, that'll,
yeah,
that'll be the inside protection. Camera,
yeah,
floodlights, outside protection, and the dog will get him maybe once he gets in. I don't know.
yeah,
Good
maybe, or
stuff.
probably just
Definitely.
go lay down.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's funny. There was a show. It Takes a Thief back in the day,
Yeah,
and
I
they
remember
would
that
they would
one.
put the cameras in the house, and yeah, like all these ferocious Rottweilers and dogs would just be barking like crazy when he's trying to get in. As soon as he gets in, they're like, "Heck no, see ya!" Like, and they run
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
no, I think it's a great idea. I think everyone should do it. Everyone who's listening, go on Amazon or Nest and Simply Safe or whatever. Simply Safe isn't sponsoring us either yet, but that would sound pretty good too. But
yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, you ready for a little rapid fire Q&A segment?
let's do it. I got one for you today, so you better be
All
ready.
right. I'll start us off. So,
Mm-hmm.
my first question. I
Mm-hmm.
think there have been a total of 6 or 7 movies made about this subject already. But if in the year, say like 2024, 2025, some rich billionaire opens a Jurassic Park in real life, the real
Mm-hmm.
deal Jurassic Park, they got, just like in the movies, they got dinosaurs flying, exhibits and all this. Are you going to the Jurassic Park to experience
I
it as a
am
visitor?
I am going eventually.
Okay.
I definitely would not drive the first Model T or ride the first spaceship, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely not going on opening day of Jurassic Park real life. I am 1,000% going um, after 9 months. No, just
All
after a
right.
year, after a calendar year. We need to check out all the seasons. Maybe these seasons make these dinosaurs crazy or something.
Yeah.
After one calendar year of less than 10 deaths, you can have a few. It's a dinosaur park, so okay, people get a little too close. We take out
Yeah, there's going to be a
gorillas and
few in
stuff.
there.
Yeah, we take out zoo animals now, and people get hurt. R.I.P. Harambe.
Right.
But yeah. After 12 months, hey, I'm there. I'm there. I'm gonna buy me a season pass. It's dinosaurs, bro. Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna test the
Yeah.
limits a little bit. I'm gonna get too close. I'm gonna go past the line. I want to smell them. Are you
Yeah.
going?
I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I'm going to be in line day one. Like, I want to be one of the first people in there. And if it goes bad, that's on me.
Well, maybe it'll just go bad, not with you, but other people.
Sure.
You'll see people.
Yeah.
You'd, yeah. I mean, I feel like day one would be wild. It would be,
Yeah.
you'd be fighting the crowds.
I tell you, I may not be able to enjoy it because I'll be looking over my shoulder, like on edge the whole time. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
are they about to break out? Like
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh
I
well,
don't know.
every loud noise, you would be like, "Oh crap, is happening!" Like the T-Rex is
This is
out.
it. I'm
The
done. Yeah.
Velociraptors are running full speed towards us right now to rip us to shreds. That's a. I feel like a regular zoo. There's the threat of maybe chimpanzees go crazy. I don't know if you've seen videos of them
Yeah.
fighting, or a tiger or
Yeah.
lion gets out, a bear gets kind of crazy. I feel like you've got a shot in those scenarios, but at
Sure.
Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
you have no shot. You have no shot. You are a very soft, wet paper bag sack that they're going to dismantle. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
you go day one. Tell me about it. After all 4 seasons and 1 year, I'll be there. I'll buy my season passes and I'll
All
be
right.
there. Is it going to be like every zoo where like a slice of pizza is like $20?
Oh,
We
I
always
I would assume, yeah. Like
a quick
it
tangent. We always laugh about movie popcorn and
yeah.
drink
Yeah.
prices. Go to a zoo. Holy cow! I went to a
Right.
zoo here recently. Wow, don't buy food at a zoo because it costs you 3 times what it costs you to get into the place. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they're subsidizing these paychecks with that slice of pizza. Guarantee you.
Yeah.
I didn't buy anything. There were a lot of people who did buy it, and they spent a lot of money. But yeah, no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah, I would say if you're visiting a quote zoo where they have brought back to life dinosaurs, I'm gonna go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and say that the slice of pizza may be in the triple digit. You might be buying $100 piece of pizza.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be expensive. They're gonna need to recoup. There's a lot of R&D and
Yeah.
infrastructure that went into this. But maybe it was like a philanthropist billionaire who just wanted everyone to
Don't
see
get
the
too caught up
beauty.
on that word.
Yeah, hope I went to say it again. I'm like, nope, I'm going with that right there. Yeah, maybe this philanthrop. Oh man, I tried it again. Now
Gotcha.
I'm overthinking it. Now I'm overthinking it. Uh, philanthropy is the word, right? Philanthropic, is that a word? Can that be
It
an
doesn't
adjective?
sound right, I'll tell you that.
An adjective of philanthropy? Okay, all right. Anyways, the Elon Musk of the world,
Sure.
he set it up. Maybe pizza prices won't be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Touching on something that you said just a minute ago, like, there's hundreds of zoos around the country. And
Mm-hmm.
I know they build these enclosures, as safe as possible, but I'm surprised we don't have more animals escaping than do. Like I've never heard of a lion escaping, like running down the
Right.
sidewalk at a zoo. Like, over the years, hundreds of zoos, like there's got to be opportunities for these animals to escape, and that's pretty remarkable that like we hadn't had a lion just tear out of an exhibit and just,
Yeah.
just do his thing.
Right. The zoo. I won't name it, but the zoo I was most recently at. I think the lion in the bear enclosure was fine. They had like a little moat surrounding it, but
Sure.
the what was it?
Yeah.
The like the baboons, chimpanzees, and something else was all in one sort of area. They could get out very easily. Like the way it was set up in my head, I'm just like,
Wow.
if they wanted to leave, they could, like 1,000%. And I was, maybe they don't, or maybe they have something set up that we can't really see, like a defense, posture that sort of from the other side looks more different than
Right.
from the
Right.
viewer side.
Yeah.
But I agree. Just maybe these animals are just sort of so docile. Maybe they're like almost
Yeah.
domesticated in a sense, or they keep them. What if they like drug them? Have you ever thought about that? What if they give
Like
them
keep them sedated.
like yeah, like Ritalin or something, like some kind of crazy Ritalin, and they're just like not primal anymore. They're just kind of chilling because they always look
Yeah.
lethargic. They're always just sort of slow. Uh,
Well, the zoo is
which
one of the saddest places you can go on earth, in my opinion.
that's
Like
I'm yeah. I'm glad you went there with it because that's so true.
You got a majestic tiger that's lived his whole life in the wild. Well, maybe not his whole life, but his ancestors, they're used to hunting prey and going through the jungle as they please. And now he's in a 5,000 square foot enclosure. That's his home now. So,
well, it's funny.
But
Do you remember there was there was a clip a few years back. I guess it's probably been a while now, where somewhere in Asia, this wildlife conservation area, you can do like drive-through tours, and I guess this husband and wife or guy and girl, whatever, was arguing, and she got out of the car, and that tiger out of nowhere snatched her. Like, jeez, like whose idea was it to get out of a car?
Yeah, how bad does the argument have to be where I'm thinking about getting out of the car in a tiger drive-through exhibit? Like,
she was pissed.
Man,
she was pissed to stupidity. Clearly, she was not thinking rationally.
Well, she wasn't pissed for too long. That's the end of that.
I want to say she lived. I think she lived, right? I think so. I think it.
I think I remember her. She died, but I don't know. Like,
it may. Well,
I don't know.
Probably did.
It wasn't pretty. I mean, whatever happened.
If I had to put money on it, I think that the tiger probably didn't give up just randomly. But anywho, no, I think you're right. I think they're drugged.
If I'm remembering,
it was like a sketchy little video camera.
I think, yeah. And I think the husband opened the door and tried to go after her, but he was like, "Wait, what am I doing? This is a tiger exhibit. Like, what am I going to do?" That's terrible.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for my question?
I am ready.
I hyped it up a little bit. Maybe too much, actually. Okay. So, survival scenario. Okay. If you had to choose between a hot climate and a cold climate on the edges of extremes, not so extreme to where you're going to die immediately, but on the edges of extreme, and hydration is not an issue. Somehow you just have infinite water. You got you found a 55-gallon drum of water in wherever you're at. But hydration is not an issue. Extreme cold or extreme heat? Which one are you going with?
Extreme heat all day. Because
think so?
With the cold, I'm 99% sure. Just because with the cold, you can have the effects of frostbite and hypothermia on you before you even know it, That's my opinion. But with extreme heat, I'm going to do things to mitigate I'm going to get in the shade. If I'm in a survival situation, I'm just, hanging out, waiting to be rescued. So I think I'm just going to hydrate up because I've got this 55-gallon drum of water, that you mentioned that I had. So I'm just laying in the shade, drinking water. I'm chilling.
So you don't think, well, I don't know if you could just chill like that. That's not survival. You got to traverse it maybe to a nearby town. So here's my seed for thought here that I've thought of, and it's been an argument that I've had people tell me of why they might winter over extreme heat summer. Obviously, we're from the South, so I like summer. But anyways, a good point for the cold. So in hot, if you're in the desert, you can strip down as much as you want. You're gonna be hot.
Oh yeah.
You're boiling, right?
Then you're gonna get
cold,
sunburnt.
Yeah, sunburnt. Sure, yeah. Cold, you can layer. You can get warm. There's not a I feel like in the hot climate there is a. Well, yeah, sure. You can kill an animal and climb inside of it or some crazy stuff, But if you're in the desert, extreme heat, once you're naked, or maybe you have, they say keep the clothes on, evaporation of sweat, blah blah blah. But I feel like there's less you can do to fight that extreme climate in the heat than in the cold. And there's certainly not a right answer because there's a million ways why each is wrong, but.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And going back to, you said, you got to travel to a nearby town or get yourself out of the situation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched enough Bear Grylls and Man vs. Wild and all these survival shows that you always travel at night when it's the moon, you're not in the sun, you're traveling at night, I'm looking up at the North Star. It's that one right there. Okay, I got it. I'm gone. So, and
that's
then during the day, I remember this vividly. during the day, they say you do as least amount as possible. They said if you don't have to stand, you sit. If you don't have to sit, you lay down. And if you don't have to be awake, you go to sleep. So, you just put your body in hibernation, so to speak. So,
Right.
final answer, I'm going in the desert. I got my 55-gallon water drum. I'm good to go.
Okay. All right. I like it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I guess in a cold climate, you have to take action immediately. Well, so we're assuming that the hot climate isn't like killing you just by being in it. You know what I mean? I think we're giving the cold the short end by saying if you do nothing here, you're going to die. Whereas in the heat, maybe we're giving it the benefit of the doubt. If you do nothing, you'll live. I could see it.
Yeah.
Because I did say survivable. I didn't say like Death Valley, 150 degrees or something.
Sure. Yeah, if it's Death Valley,
Either way, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I'm gonna have my
add
ring.
A little more context.
You keep going, yeah.
Just a little, yeah. I live in South Alabama, so we have this week coming up. We have 101, and then 102. And as everybody tells you, it's not the heat that gets you; it's the humidity. So you add in a 95% humidity, it feels like 120. So I work outside a lot, so I'm a little bit conditioned for the heat. So I think that's where my false confidence comes from. Like for the heat, it's like, all right,
you'll
just
be
give
ready
it to
for
me.
it. Yeah. And that's very true because like I spent some time in the Middle East, and while 115, 120 degrees, it's hot. It's 115, it's 120, like regardless. But I will say it's in some ways a little more manageable than 100 with 75, 80% humidity. So we had some multiple days in a row over 110, and it was workable. We were able to take shifts and stuff, but it was doable versus you lose so much water. Well, it's kind of the flip side because the one thing, you sweat more than humidity. What stays on you is what it is. And because you'll sweat in that dry heat too, but it evaporates so fast. And that was one of the issues in extreme dry heat is you don't even know when you're dehydrated because when you're in high humidity and you're sweating and you start slowing down the sweat or you stop sweating, then you need to be worried that you're kind of extremely dehydrated. But in that dry heat, your shirt literally dries so fast. Like literally, like you never sweat in the desert. It just dries.
Wow.
It leaves your pores and it just dries.
That's crazy.
But yeah, all that to say, okay, your final answer. I got it. Heat. You'll be in the desert with Bear Grylls, and I don't know. I'm torn. I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Luckily, I've got my Ring doorbell camera, and I won't be in that situation when the kidnappers come. So
nobody's getting you out of your house without you putting up a fight, is what you're saying.
That's exactly. Yeah. And if they say, "Hey, we're going to put you in a survival scenario that's either in the desert or in Antarctica," I'm going to fight to the death.
Yeah.
But, yeah, cool. That was my question.
You're going to make your final stand right there.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What is your favorite candy bar?
My favorite candy bar is it's the most inconvenient one. I'll give you that little hint there. It is a Butterfinger. Butterfinger is my favorite.
Messy.
It gets in your teeth and it gives you a cavity immediately because it like embeds itself into your teeth somehow. But while you're eating it, it is amazing. What about you?
Yeah, and it also half of it crumbles and also falls down your shirt.
Sure, yeah. It's an experience. Yeah, you have to practice it for sure. Can't be a new Butterfinger eater.
That fights back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my favorite is a Take 5 by Reese's.
Take 5. Okay. Yeah. I think I've only had like one of those in my entire life.
You're definitely missing out then.
Yeah. Does it take you longer than 5 to eat it?
No, they're so good that I just like it's the one that comes in the two individual nuggets, like they're two separate little things in a
Yeah.
package. So
Okay.
you eat one like 2 bites, then you eat the other one 2 bites, and you're wishing, man, I wish I had bought the king size with four
Right.
individual nuggets in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
So
and,
yeah.
and one thing down the Butterfinger Lane that I kind of like that I just had here recently that I had this huge craving for and finally found it. They're kind of hard to find nowadays is some Reese's Pieces.
Oh yeah.
Dang, those things are good, dude. Holy cow. I ate the whole
Yeah.
bag.
I always used to get those at the movie theaters. They'd have those in the cardboard
Yeah,
boxes, you remember?
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's like a
Yeah.
vibe, eating them out of that.
Yeah.
That's like an
Yeah.
interesting thing.
And then you just got like robbed. They're like $7 for a box of
Oh
Reese's
my
Pieces, and
gosh.
you're like, man,
And
yeah,
what's crazy is how much so Reese's Pieces, it's like peanut butter with a candy coating, right? So
yeah,
how much do you think that cost? How much do you think it costs to make one Reese's Pieces piece?
like a fraction of a penny, probably.
Right, probably. Probably. Or it would probably take that whole box to equal
Yeah,
to a measurable currency amount, you know?
right, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And speaking of the movie theaters, like one of my earliest memories is me and my grandparents. Like I think they took me to my first movie, if I remember the old family story correctly. And my grandpa takes me to the gas station, and he's like, "All right, pick out your candy." And I was like, "Don't we do that at the theater?" And he's like, "No, you kidding? We buy candy at the gas station beforehand." It's like,
Yeah.
he's like, "But don't tell anybody." And I'm like, "Okay, all right."
That's
Like,
funny. Yeah.
you know, like
I
this isn't
never
how
bring
I
anything
thought the
with me.
movies was gonna be. Really?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I see. I'm not a like a because some movie theaters have like food, like full blown food. Like I don't
Sure.
want
Yeah.
food. And the candy, it sounds good. You're wrestling, making noise. I don't know. I feel like it's
Yeah.
distracting. Listen,
Yeah.
I get me some popcorn, get me a soda. Pay my
Yeah.
$30 for
Sure.
one
Yeah.
movie trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I go for. And you always eat half the popcorn, and
Yeah. It gets
most
cold.
most of the soda, and you got to pee halfway, and then you throw it all the way at the end. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, what's the
Or
what's the
some people,
last what's the
some
last
people
movie
throw.
you've
Okay.
seen? Oh, sorry. What's the last movie you've
No, you're
seen
good.
in theaters?
It's been a while since we've been to the theaters. It was Top Gun 2, Top Gun
Oh,
Maverick,
okay,
the
yeah,
second
yeah,
one
yeah.
last summer. Yeah, I
Nice.
hadn't been to the movies in a pretty probably close to a year, but yeah, that was a good movie to see in the theaters. Which, we saw it kind of late, so there's like seven of us in the theater, and it wasn't that
Nice.
like camaraderie like on opening day
Okay,
that
sure,
you
yeah.
hear about like Top Gun. But just another quick funny movie theater story. So in high school, one of my buddies worked at the big theater in my town.
Hmm.
It was a big theater, like 12, 14 screens. And so he got us in like free tickets and all this. And he was like, "Hey, bring your own cup. Like they're not going to give us a cup for
Hmm.
free drinks, but like if you bring your cup, like we can just go fill it up." So me and my buddies, we all had these like Yeti stainless steel tumblers, like obviously that are like super popular. So like we just walked through the line. There are people lined up out the door. It's like opening night of some Marvel movie that was popular. But actually, I think, which is funny, I think it was actually one of the Jurassic Park movies that we went and saw. Like
Mm.
one of our earlier topics. But so we just cut through the line, like he's waving us on, like come on. So we walk in, we got our Yetis, and we just go up to the drink machines, and we hit the ice, and it's just ding ding ding, like everybody in the lobby's like looking at us, like these guys just brought their own cups in, like they're
Right.
totally stealing the soda out of there. So
That's
that was funny.
hilarious.
We're just like filling it up with ice, and it's just making the most
I was
racket, and
gonna say,
everybody's
yeah, because
looking at us. But
that's not a noise that's in a theater. Is the ice hitting a Yeti cup? you know,
right, yeah, yeah.
that's awesome.
So,
I like it. I went and seen
all right.
Mission
Well,
Impossible
those are.
recently. It's worth it. It's
Oh
good.
yeah, I want to
Yeah,
see that one. Yeah,
it's good. It's
yeah,
good. I mean, it's a typical, Tom Cruise Mission Impossible that he seemingly makes possible. But I
sure.
like it. I like it. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. So,
Yeah, I like the spy movies. Like they're
mm,
on a mission and all this kind of stuff. My wife,
sure.
she like I said, you want to go see that movie? Sometimes he's like, absolutely not. They're all the same movie. I was like, yeah, but that's the kind of the fun of
Right.
it. Like,
Yeah.
see what they
Right.
do this time.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that's the same
Yeah.
with like most movies. All the Marvel movies are the same movie. There's
Oh,
a
sure. Yeah.
superhero, sad story or whatever, world's ending. They save the day last second. Oh, thank goodness. You know.
Yeah. 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 It's good stuff. All right. Well, that's it for rapid fire Q&As. Are you ready for your random fact of the day?
I am ready to learn something.
All right. So going back to World War II. So when the U.S. was getting ready to invade Japan, before we had dropped
America.
the atomic bombs on them and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff in our history, so preparing for the invasion of the mainland islands of Japan, the U.S. had ordered over 430,000 Purple Heart medals to be issued out to all of the soldiers who were going to get injured in that like insane battle for the mainland
Wow.
Japanese islands.
Mm-hmm.
But it never happened. And all of those medals went into inventory, and we're still giving them out today to our wounded troops to this day. The same
Wow.
medals that were made for the invasion of Japan.
Interesting. Wow. That would be interesting to receive one of those medals and kind of hear about that fact and be like, wow, this was ordered for some poor guy to try to invade mainland Japan. I wonder where they're at. Are they just in a box somewhere at some base, some storage, some logistics base in some warehouse?
Yeah, I mean, in the article I was reading about it said that they're still making some. Like, it's been a lot of years, like 50, it's been like 70 years since World War II, somewhere around there. Like, I guess they would be in good condition, still.
Yeah, I guess really, I wonder how many they gave out in Vietnam. That's really the only major, air quotes, major conflict that we've had like mass casualties in since then.
Well, you got to think the Korean War too.
Oh yeah. That one always slips away from me. I forget about that.
Yeah, it's never talked about. Like, I don't know any historical battles or, Vietnam, you got, tons of big events, but like the Korean War, I don't know hardly anything about, which is
I heard,
interesting.
What I heard this little clip about it one time, like that we don't hear much about it is because China kind of strong armed us. Like
Really?
China ran us out of North Korea, in a sense. And that could be completely factually incorrect, and I could be making that up. But I'm pretty sure I did hear that, we didn't want to go up against China as a whole.
Sure.
We love our proxy wars, but I believe that China through North Korea sort of ran out. And I want to say the way the Chinese celebrate it and the way the North Koreans celebrate it is that they won, that they beat out the U.S. and South Korea out of North Korea. So somebody definitely fact check that. But I think the reason why we don't hear anything about it is because it wasn't, we didn't go in there and spread democracy. We kind of I think we kind of got ran out of there. But it's crazy. Yeah. I definitely don't think we've had. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, you finished, and I was going to do another.
Well, I was going to say, I definitely don't think we've had the 430,000 casualties since.
No, it's saying we still have like 100,000 of these left.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But if you think about it, like, that shows you how ferocious the battle for mainland Japan was going to be because, we went to such an extreme measure to prevent this that we dropped an atomic bomb on them. And that's no small feat,
Right.
And I saw a statistic that it was going to say like, 2 or 3 million American casualties, like to take that whole island. And that's just a ton, especially back in the 40s, like that's insane to think about.
Yeah. I had heard that it would be millions on like both total, like both sides, civilians, military, just a bloodbath, and everywhere. And it's a smart decision because what strategic advantage would there to be to take take the island of Japan or islands of Japan, unless we're gonna straight up
Yeah.
Uncle Sam their ass, So they'd like take it.
Yeah. And when we dropped the first atomic bomb, like they didn't surrender. Like
Yeah,
they kept going. They took two, which is
yeah,
insane. It
yeah.
shows the Japanese resolve.
Yeah. And I think the general wanted to keep fighting even after the second one. I think the rest of the staff kind of made the call of like, hey, we're done. Which is a great segue to Oppenheimer. Is a good movie. I went and seen that.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say that shows you the race to get that technology developed. Like, hey, we got to get this ready now.
And I think the argument of nuclear weapons being the deterrent, the mutually assured destruction deterrent, I think that's true. Because one thing that the world has shown, we are okay, and I use okay, in not its literal sense, but we definitely send young men and women with a gun to go fight, and if they die, great. If they die, it's sad, great, whatever. Like, we will sacrifice bodies with bullets, you know what I mean? So, and I think if we didn't have that nuclear deterrent, we would be okay with sending, more people. I mean, obviously Russia and Ukraine's a huge example of it, but I think it was a good invention, unfortunate, in the 40s, but 50s, but definitely a way to stop some more bloodshed. So definitely sacrificed a few to save the many.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you on this episode. Be sure to go check out the other videos that we're posting. We have tons of content coming your way. So we'll catch you next week on episode 3.
See ya.